Boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. On Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello, Star Wars fans. You know there's 143 days until Christmas 2023. And just 18 days, is it? 18, 19 until Ahsoka. And it'll be like Christmas in August. We're going to get Ahsoka 2 episodes on the premiere night, and it looks like everything's building up. And could you guys do me a huge favor? We've only been able to do one show a week for some time. I've been fighting things at work and not able to come and stream. I'm even behind on recording my Thrawn episodes. But if you guys could do the social media stuff, like, share, you could subscribe. It costs you nothing. And if you subscribe, you can join in the chat, because we have to turn that off to keep the bots out. Bots don't predict. Predict. I just read Peter Griffin's message. Bots don't subscribe. So just subscribe, join. It's all that's good. Hey, I've got my friend Jason Ward here with me. How are you doing, Jason Ward?
I'm all right. I'm good. I shared all of your shows on my social medias.
Look at you.
I did it.
You're great. You're great.
I can do it. If I can do it, so can you.
That's right. And Mumbo Jimbo, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, I got something else to show you guys.
Nice, Mumbo.
We've got.
What'd you get me? What'd you get me?
No, it was my birthday a couple weeks ago, and
you're immortal. It doesn't count. You can, whatever.
Our good friend Yachty, who's in the chat.
Yachty.
Yes. Hey, look, Star Wars Fits. Thank you for that. That's fantastic. Thank you for the super chat, Fits. Fantastic. She sent me a birthday present. And I went to the public mailbox, and it had been there for some time. I just hadn't gone for a while. But look at that.
Oh, wow.
Right? That's Ray.
That's rad.
And she's got the little doll there. Really cute.
Right.
So I love it.
My birthday's on the 23rd, and I got my package from Yachty today.
Yeah?
And, it's a capo with a ketchup packet. What?
What's that
what
about?
Is this? Yeah, I don't know, man. She must like you a lot more than me.
Oh, she is a wonderful person. She made she did handmade Mickey Mouse ears for my wife and my daughter.
Yeah,
that were Star Wars and Disney themed. They were just wonderful.
She made me a Bob Iger ski mask, and she said, wear this down to the picket line." No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
She also every year sends me a calendar and she takes these.
I love those. Those are fantastic. So cool. I remember last year when you showed that.
So this is August, and you got Anakin and Vader.
Hey,
look at that, Anakin and Vader. We'll be talking a little bit about them today, I think.
Actually, Yachty, that's not in canon. That's the same person.
Now that's funny. Well,
Yachty, I think you made a continuity error.
Did it? I mean, there was a whole thing on. Oh well, shoot! What's the place they went to where?
Why would you ask me? I don't even understand symbolism.
There was a thing in the Mortis arc where he kind of got a preview of himself, so maybe that's what it is. It's a reimagining really of the Mortis arc. No, it's a fantastic.
That Yachty's talented.
She is.
I'll say it. Even though she gave me a ketchup packet with the capo in it.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, we've got that. I wanted to talk a little bit too because I saw the comment and I was going to say something about this. Every time there's a series, we do a predictions game. It's tons of fun. Jason always gets them wrong, even though he knows the answers.
Tons of fun and shames me.
he knows all the answers and he still gets the wrong. I don't know how that works.
Because it's always like a laser beam deflects off Darth Vader's helmet. And I'm just like, I don't know who knows this. People who made this don't know this. I can't cheat this if I want to. Thrawn is more like the Chiss Ascendancy book Thrawn than the other Thrawn from the other Thrawn thing. I'm like, man, this ain't fair. You can't study for this.
That's right. That's sort of the idea. We tried to make it Jason Ward proof.
It is, apparently. You're doing a good job.
So but we're going to throw in a bonus quiz this season. It's a new idea I had, and before the season begins,
right?
We're going to send out a predictions, and you're going to be able to put in, I don't know, 1 to 5. I haven't decided yet exactly. Mm-hmm. Fill in the blank predictions for the season, for the entire season, right? And then we're going to assign all of those predictions a difficulty score, like easy to insane, right?
Like Ahsoka marries Bosk at the end. That would be insane.
That'd be insane. Yes.
It happens though, so get ready.
Right. Or Morok takes his helmet off and it's actually Sabine Wren. I don't know. Something stupid. Right, so if you put something in there that is,
and she's all, who are you? She's all, somebody who loves you. Like, what? I know that reference. Amazing.
Yes, yes. So, but if it were to happen, you would get bonus points for the season. So that way, if you want to participate in the predictions, it's a lot of fun, and you want to put something in that's fairly obvious, then you could put that in. You may only get an extra point for the whole season. You might get 5, 10, or 20 points for the entire season. So that could help you out, especially like my friend Nerd Mafia, who likes to skip one every season. Like we'll go through and there's like 8 episodes. He'll skip.
Well, he likes to keep it fair. He's like, I'll skip one and give everybody else a chance this time.
So you might be able to make enough points on the season one that you wouldn't fall behind. But then again, somebody might be ahead because they have those points. So it's just a fun game to play. And
I mean, it's fun, but it's also life or death. Continue.
It is. And I am known to mock people when they get them wrong. It's a thing.
That didn't just happen to me 2 minutes ago. For several shows in a row.
Right. I do it every time. Every time. So it's a lot of fun. We'll be putting that preseason prediction out by next week. That still gives you a little over a week to still yet get your preseason prediction in, and then we'll post the episode 1 and 2 predictions right after that, so that folks can do the whole season. They can say, "Here's what's going to happen in episode 1 and 2." Those are the hardest ones. Those the first episode, because you've seen the trailer, you got an idea of what's coming. We've got new trailers that just dropped like minutes ago.
A 45-second TV spot in the middle of the night at midnight. Right?
There's
another one again, or
there's 2 more.
So there's 2 more. I knew the floodgates were yesterday. I called my show like this. It has begun, something like that. Along those lines, because I knew all the stuff was going to be hitting. But
It has
boy,
begun. It has
yeah.
begun. It is in full force now. There was the one that came out last night. We'll take a look at that, and then there's two more. That's really one more. So the funny thing about that is
Is
Disney
it two?
Plus.
Is it 2 15-second ones? Basically, is that what the other one?
No, they're
You're
a minute.
Okay.
They're a minute.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
But
Nice.
they dropped one on Disney Plus, and they dropped one on StarWars.com or Star Wars YouTube channels, right? Or
Right.
social medias, all the things.
StarWars.gov.
It's the exact same video, but each video has a different name, different title. Right?
Yeah.
Like the one on Star Wars says Masters and Apprentices. Masters and Apprentices. Apprenti.
Apprenti.
The one on Disney Plus says A New Legacy.
What?
Yeah, A New Legacy, Masters and Apprentices. Same video. Yeah. Apprentices. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that. That word's terrible. What a dumb word. Apprentices.
Right. So we've got those to take a look at as well, and then of course we've got that Entertainment Weekly article to take a look at, and then we'll see if Meg makes it to join us or not. Either way, we're in great shape.
I heard she's afraid.
Yeah,
because she heard about the bonus points. I don't think she can I don't think she can handle it.
That's true.
I doubt it. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I really doubt it.
It's fun. It's fun. Hey, Nerd Mafia is on chapter 20 of Thrawn Treason. He just started that trilogy, and he just like powering through all three of them back to back to back. It could be done.
I already just read the last page, and he's making the rest up. So I heard.
Maybe, yeah. Well, so you want to look at the trailer that just dropped?
I haven't seen it yet. So
you haven't seen it yet.
Let's go with
let's
the
share
fresh
that.
stuff.
Yeah. And then I watched your show from yesterday.
I'm sorry.
No, it was good.
Okay.
It was good. You and Bespin were doing your thing.
Yeah.
And then Rob came in and spoiled all the fun at the end.
Yeah. He's a little grouch. He went and saw the Ninja Turtles and he was in a bad mood. No, I'm kidding. He was fine.
He was great. He was great. Rob's always great. But again, it's a thing. My friends, I haze.
Oh yeah.
If you're not my friend, I don't care. But
I mean, I know this guy one time and he pants me in front of a bunch of girls. My God.
Jason texts me, I'm sick. I'm on my deathbed. I say, oh yeah, really? You think you need to listen to this Genesis? We'll get some Phil Collins playing in your room. That's what I would do. He'd be like, no, I'm going to die. I need something to pick me up. I'm like, Phil Collins. That's what you really need.
I saw a shirt when I was out the other day, and I was actually like, I was gonna get it for you if they had it in our size for me or you, but it was Phil Collins live in Vice City, and it was like a CGI Phil Collins like from the game, and I was like, it was pretty funny, but I broke Santa. So here's the thing, guys. Santa's an advanced AI, and every now and then he kind of hiccups, and I think we've lost him. Nothing I can do about it. Just the way that it's gonna go, because he gets really, really happy when he's coming in there tonight.
How about now? I'm back.
So all right,
our power went completely out. Like it was
really.
I'm here in the basement. It went dark.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
That's because the evil demon Phil Collins wants vengeance. You don't play with dark forces like that, Santa. You shouldn't. I saw on a ghost hunting show that they just draw power from electricity, so makes sense.
Khonshu.
Khonshu is
Canadian.
Khonshu is so generous.
Very, very wonderful. Thank you for the super chat. It says, I think Yoda will appear similar to the times he did in Rebels until Ahsoka stops hiding from what burns inside her. Embrace the true Jedi Master she is. Oh, I love that. That would be cool. That's very Yoda-like. Now, our friend Meg thinks that Ahsoka's going to be hanging out with Force Ghost Anakin.
Hmm.
I'm not so sure.
So a little bit of like that. Now, I don't believe this is relevant to the current Lucasfilm, to the current where we're at. But for a time, I was hearing that Yoda was like they were kind of pulling him back and saving him for High Republic content. Like that was going to be like Yoda's realm, like for a
I
time.
see.
And at one point, they wanted to do a Yoda film. Like that's where this was going. That was like on the table. Let's get a Yoda thing cooking. That obviously never happened. And I think have we seen Yoda be on the High Republic VR game? Like I'm trying to remember now. If anybody in the chat remembers.
Not. Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
I need to take myself out and then see if I can add myself back in.
Okay.
It's not behaving.
Yeah. So my show now. Here we go. No, but when it came to the old like I said, the old like Yoda thing for a while, I was just hearing that if you were gonna get Yoda, it was gonna be in like High Republic content. And then we kind of moved past that being so viable. Like the High Republic films, nothing, they didn't go in that direction in the end. But I think the next place we see Yoda most likely is Acolyte, because you're going to have the Jedi Council, you're going to have the Jedi Chambers, you're going to have Yoda, who is a Jedi at that time in that place. And so I am curious if that's where we see him. However, if that should come to fruition, then I think that theory could hold some water, because if they're using Yoda, if they have a Yoda, in production being used anywhere, pretty good chance that it would.
Try again. How about now?
I'm back. I think you might be good now.
Okay.
You're a little pixelated, but you're better than you were. Okay. But anyways, if they do have Yoda in the Acolyte, it stands to reason Yoda cameoing in the Ahsoka series would be way more viable, not only from a CGI perspective, but a puppet perspective, depending on how they were to where they were to take it. And the justification of Yoda in either series would also be doubly justified. So I don't have anything on this. This is no like angle for me about that this is happening, but it's completely.
Okay. Power outages. I don't recommend it. Not in the middle of a live stream. I see what happens to you all the time. Your computer gets really hot because you live in like on the sun, and and so your computer's like, it's too hot, dude. Go take a swim. And
they literally filmed Tatooine down the street from me. Not lying.
Our power went out, and so it switched me over to a different Wi-Fi network, a mobile one from our RV and whatever. So it did that, and then I had to switch it over to our home one, and then I felt
like I was camping for a second.
I had to switch it onto the 5G. So I think we're full power now. And we can show this video. So Meg thinks that Ahsoka's going to be getting words of wisdom from Force Ghost Anakin. I'm not so sure. I'm just not 100% on that. Maybe, but I think maybe it'll be more like Kenobi with Qui-Gon, where maybe at the end,
maybe Ahsoka is like making like a pot, in that place, like with the feet, like a old clay pot, and maybe like Anakin comes behind her and he's just like, I'm single now, I killed my ex-wife, and she's like, hey, you know what? I don't follow Jedi way. I can do what I want.
So this is the new trailer from Star Wars called Masters and Apprentices.
Wait, Yoda? Little baby Yoda? What's going on here?
Yeah. How could Ahsoka see Force Ghosts? Didn't Kenobi train to see Force Ghosts? How did Luke all of a sudden see Force Ghosts?
No, he trained to become a Force Ghost, not to see one.
Right, to become one, not to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we have this.
It's a manifestation of midi-chlorians.
Masters and Apprentices. And like I said, the other version of this has a different title. It's like a new, what was it? It's a new legacy.
A
A
new
new
dope.
legacy.
Oh, okay.
So here's this, and it says, "Don't forget to unmute." I'm not going to unmute because then I get this weird echo with Jason and the
You can
screen.
mute me if you want to for the thing, and I could talk after. I could shut up.
No, you can't.
I can do it. I can do it if you want to. If you want to, I can.
No. We could. I've got the subtitles turned
Okay.
on, and,
Okay.
and you know that the words in these things aren't all that much. It says, "Always there are no more, no less. Always two," and this is about the Sith, of course, not just Master
Okay.
and Apprentice, but that's what it.
Oh, it's one of these guys. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
right. Be mindful of. So you see all these Masters and Apprentice, right? You see
Right.
Obi-Wan and Anakin.
45-year-old,
Luke.
19-year-olds, all kinds of crazy stuff in this trailer.
Yeah. There's Luke and Grogu. And Ahsoka and Sabine.
Mhm.
Right. So there's all these
Hey.
masters with their apprentices,
Hmm.
and then you get Ahsoka and Sabine. Of course, there's a lot of Luke and Rey. Uh, you get that as well. There's Yoda and Luke. So all these pairings. So I'll let this go back. We'll start over, and I'll slow it down just so we can kind of talk about it a little
Yeah.
bit while it plays.
Was there anything new in it though, or was it all
I
stuff?
don't. I think no. I didn't see anything new. The one that came
Yeah.
last night did have something new in it, but
Mhm.
it's just about the master and apprentice, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan and
It's
Luke.
amazing that shots from '99 are still better than most of the stuff we get today, and people complained about it when it came out. Think about that.
Ah,
It's crazy.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That so Luke and Yoda, Luke
Mhm.
and Rey. It's an
I think
interesting,
Ray discovered LK99. She knows about the superconductor because I saw that stuff levitating.
but there's been some discussion
Mhm.
about. Of course, you see Balin and Shin there as well. There's
Yeah.
been some discussion in here about um, is Sabine force sensitive? Just because she apprenticed with Ahsoka doesn't mean that she is force sensitive. Much
No.
like Sabine trained with Kanan
Hey.
with the dark saber, right? Maybe she's just doing some combat training,
Mhm.
some you know fighting kind of training, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Maybe she's not doing any actual force Jedi training.
Yeah. She might call her a white slaver at some point too. Just thinking about it. I mean,
Jason.
what? Dave Filoni is George Lucas's apprentice too.
It's true. It's true. We have grown. What we have, what they have grown beyond. True burden of all masters. So there's that new trailer that came out today. And then of
Mhm.
course we have the one that came out last night. This is the one.
Dave Filoni was like, "Should I work for Star Wars or a fortune cookie company? I don't know." And George Lucas was like, "Come on,
Yeah. So
I'm eating Chinese food here too."
this is the trailer that came out last night. Meg broke it down today,
Mhm.
and
In a freestyle rap, it was amazing.
amazing. The,
Standard beatboxed it the whole time too.
there are very Shogun-like stance over here,
Mhm.
but they there are a couple new spots in here. Like here, you get Balaam in um, a communicator right kind of situation,
Yeah,
projector, right?
yeah.
And then this is
Hologram.
we've seen that. There's there's a couple of new. There's a new shot. You get Ahsoka and Sabine running through. They're on Corvus. We
Mhm.
believe Corvus. Not 100% sure, but this we've seen before. There's another shot coming up here that's uh, Very interesting.
The planetarium. They're listening to Pink Floyd.
This is the shot where you could hear Vader's breath synthesizer in the background in the other trailer. You don't hear it in this one. I think here you see that E-wing fly off. I don't think we saw that before.
Yeah.
And then
these lines are very wooden, by the way. I was a little like, oh no, and they thought to put the wooden lines in the trailer.
Well, there's another thing to discuss. Oh, here we go. Boom. This is new. This is new because
Warwick Davis is in the co-pilot seat, you guys.
Whoever's in the co-pilot seat. Now, this has left a lot of speculation about that's got to be Jason Syndulla.
I think it clearly is. I mean, look at the hair. It's not Sabine. What would Sabine be doing? Sitting like this, like I'm Sabine, I'm just a little kid now. Like that would be dumb, you guys. I mean, I'm just saying. Like we know from the Lego set, we know that's clearly the stature of a child, unless there is like a little character that we don't know about who shows up.
So the question is about time, right? Because Jason Syndulla, if he's still this tall, either he just stopped growing or this has got to be before now, like before the Mandoverse. Yeah?
I don't know. I mean,
because he's got to be...
He's going to be, what, 10? 10 years old?
So when we saw him in Rebels, it was already this time?
But I mean, when we see him in Rebels, I mean, they would have to do something. I mean, unless they do something like Twi'leks don't carry human babies for 9 months, right? We have a very clear timeline from the death of Kanan to with the cadet. But when I see a cartoon kid like that kid could be 5, that kid could be 10. I don't know how to look at the cartoon kid and judge its age. It has no dialogue. It has, and they've already changed how it looks from apparently from the Lego design that we've seen. So I'm not really willing to go out on a limb and say whatever we saw at the end of Rebels is the hardcore canon at the moment.
I mean, it's the same dude.
What do you think?
Well, it's
the same dude, and but apparently he's changed how it looks entirely too.
Yeah. What do I think? I think that
because I'm kind of like it just don't make sense.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because when we saw the time jump in Rebels, so at the very end of Rebels happens a bit before A New Hope, right?
Right.
Just and Kanan dies, like you say, and she hasn't had Jason yet.
Yeah.
We get this scene later. We see her in the ship with like a 10-year-old, we'll say, give or take, couple. Jason in the seat next to her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know that I thought it through then.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me do some math and figure out when that scene in Rebels happened. And I'm like, oh, we already jumped all the way past the original trilogy. Like that didn't sink into my head that we had, like in that scene, jumped past the original trilogy.
Okay, so from A New Hope, we get 3 years to Empire, then 1 year to Jedi, right? So it's like basically, let's just say, and then Kanan dies 1 year before the Battle of Yavin. So we have about 5 years there. 5 to 6 years, okay? Roughly. Let's just say 5 to 6. And then we get about 6 to 7 years to the Mando timeline, 5 to 7 years to get to the Mando era right there. So right there, we have him being around 11 or 12 years old,
right?
Regardless of how it goes. So
right. I just didn't, when I watched Rebels, I didn't do that in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't place that scene as being after the original trilogy. But you go back and you think about it. You put that math in your head, and you're like, oh, wait a second, they're going to survive the entire original trilogy.
Right. The actual like Wikipedia thing says that Kanan officially dies 1 year BBY.
Okay. So
Is
Jason is born months, like 4 months BBY or something,
yeah, and once again, I think if we got really hardcore historical about it, it probably wouldn't actually make sense. It's just like everything's an estimation of like, and it's all malleable to some extent.
I think for me, I didn't realize it was that far forward.
When I saw it. And then when you have like kids around that 10 to 12 age, they can look like men because they've like hit puberty and they're like just these big old stinky monsters, or they can look like little children. So I think they got some leeway here with that. Probably.
I was a 7th grade social studies teacher, and
you were there, you smelled it. You smelled it. You know who nailed it.
Best job I ever had in my entire life was a 7th grade social studies teacher. I absolutely loved being a middle school teacher. It was the happiest that I was, and I was working hard, not making any money, but man, that was great. But yes, you have little tiny children, right? Little seventh graders, little tiny 7th graders.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple that were almost my height. We have one
that was me. That was me. I was a little early starter, and I was already tall. So I'm like in the class, and I'm like 5'11" in like 7th grade, and everybody's just like, "We want to fight you." I'm like, "Why does everybody want to beat me up now? Because you're really tall. We want to fight you." I said that's what it was like. It was weird.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, we had a kid in my 7th grade class that was 6 foot tall, and of course he played on the middle school basketball team, like because it was just ridiculous, right? Yeah. It was just ridiculous. He's so tall. And I also was a soccer coach when my daughter was coming up. And we had a kid that we always had to keep his birth certificate nearby. Like, hey, that kid, he can't be playing soccer with my kid.
This is Tolly McTall, and he is clearly, or she is clearly.
Right. The kid's 11. I'm just telling you. He's like, I've got this right here. He's 11. They're like, well, he's going to hurt somebody. Well, what? He's not supposed to be able to play. You want him to play with the 16-year-olds? Then he's going to get like.
Give your kid steroids next time, loser.
So anyhow, there's another thing related to this. So that's Jason, and that's the right time frame.
Yeah. So, well, and one last just little caveat here is I don't like I said, I always heard that the first 4 episodes take place around the Mando early seasons, and the second 4 episodes take place in the more current later Mando seasons. So what that time jump is officially is, I don't actually know, and that might actually lead to more leeway here with the age stuff, depending on when that moment happens. That moment right there, might be when the gang breaks up, for all we know. There's a lot of explanations that could explain that.
Sure,
so that's when.
Sure. Matt, maybe he identified as a 16-year-old. Yeah. Silly. So here we get Balin, and we've already heard that he is a hired mercenary type, working for. No. That's the other dude. That's the Inquisitor guy. Yeah. Inquisitor guy was an Inquisitor.
Oh, he's a merc too.
He's a merc. So he's working for our girl. Right.
Morgan.
He's working for Morgan Elsbeth,
the magistrate. And it says in every single database, the magistrate. They want to like fill up the word count, so they're like, the magistrate of Corvus, or something like that every time.
We got some. She got some color coding things going on here. She wears this. There's a lot of like when we first saw her in episode 2 or season 2 of Mando. People were looking at her clothing and thinking, "Oh, hey, she could be a Night Sister. Look at that. She's got this kind of color." And now look here, these dudes, they've kind of got the same sort of thing going on.
Are those the same dudes from the Mando episode on Corvus that we see like kind of like in that like little village place that's being like oppressed by her?
I think so.
Are they different? Okay, I wasn't sure
No,
if they
I
were
think
different or
so.
the same. Okay,
I think that's how people
Oh,
are
and
saying.
did you notice how he's like, oh, I'm gonna hold my belt buckle like Darth Vader so people take me seriously. And I know it draws attention to this region, but mine didn't get burned off. That's what that's what he's doing in that shot.
No.
But he is doing the Darth Vader. He is literally doing the Darth Vader.
There's clearly he's clearly meant to be doing that. Like the hallway scene is just like Vader's hallway scene. The lightsaber is the same as from the early promotional materials.
He's an amalgamation as well of Luke Jedi from the Jabba's palace moments too. Like in some of the shots that we've seen, they're kind of like doing. Oh yeah, what happens when these dudes go dark? And Luke Skywalker goes dark. He is not evil, but he's not on the right path at the start of Return of the Jedi.
Well, I heard you talk about that last night. I don't think most of us thought that when we saw it, though. I was like, oh, look at him.
He shows up in black when he used to wear white. He opens up the panel. It's white underneath, and he hasn't seen. He hasn't had the realization yet. But he's
I hear you. I'm not that deep of a thinker. So I've been told. Must be nice to be.
Sorry, Mrs. Claus. Be nice, Mrs. Claus. No.
Some of Matt's friends are like, oh well, must be nice to not be so. That's such a deep thinker. No, you don't
have to hate the air. You can just enjoy your life. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm having fun, guys. I'm having fun. And so we see Ahsoka.
I like the shot. That shot a lot. That looks like really nice.
So the nice thing here is you actually heard Chopper's voice.
Mm-hmm. Dave Filoni.
Do
you think Dave Filoni is in SAG, or do you think he just does the line?
I want to think that he's doing the voiceovers. Yeah.
No, he is. He does. He's the voice of Chopper.
Yeah.
But I think that's out, right? People know that, right?
Yes.
It's like a thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but he's clearly doing the voice there. But I wonder if he had to join SAG to do the voice for.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The Disney Plus thing, like back in the day when he was just like adding it to a cartoon. I bet he did.
Not more than that, because he's shown up in his own show, right? He was an X-Wing pilot. He's been in the bar.
Oh, true. Yeah, there's a lot of cameos going on here now. And it all does kind of add up.
Yeah, I got to think he's in SAG. He's got to be at this point. Yeah. So there she's coming. So I want to back up here just a second because this is interesting because Ahsoka's coming up she's jumping up through the ground. Remember in the previous scenes, you see her put her lightsabers down. She cuts the hole and she goes down into the underneath area there. Mm-hmm. I think this is her coming out of that same place. Yeah. If we really right there.
Right. So there's Ninja Turtles in there. Get out.
I think she's coming out of the hole that she dug.
Yeah. Even though that she cuts through and falls down. Yeah. When she goes to get out, they're like, hey. It's like probably kind of an Indiana Jones moment, when he goes to come out and then like the Nazis are just waiting there for you.
Yeah, I think she cut this hole, but there's another one here right beside it. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
That one's Bugs Bunny's. He moves it around.
Oh, is it? Yeah, no, it's the one that Wile E. Coyote uses all the time. When Hey, look, feet.
There's the feet.
There they are. There they are. You're and you guys, we're commenting about the feet. We're not just that weird. We are, but also
speak for yourself.
Jason got these pictures like I don't know 2 years ago almost. It's been a long time.
They built that giant foot. It was out there.
Yeah, that's a practical effect. We saw the feet and we were like, oh, what is this? We see a foot. We get what? And so there it is, right there. Ancient Jedi feet pics, right?
Jedi feet pics, yeah,
exactly. She's
like, Ahsoka, leave us alone. We just want to take pictures of the feet.
Rebels will, and then yeah, rise. Rebels will rise.
They love that garbage, don't they?
It's
Rebels
fantastic.
rise,
I love it.
ascendance. Yeah, it's so. After 20 years of it, I'm just like,
And well, first, hold on. Let's go back because this is a extended bit that we've seen before. We saw. Uh, I don't think we saw him facing off like this before.
best hair in the galaxy, though. Gotta give
We
her
did
credit.
see this before,
Mm-hmm.
but then I don't think that we saw this before. So there you go. And then the same thing here with Ahsoka. Dude's
You might know me as Marok, but my real name is Spinny Spinster Spinster.
she's like, your little spinny blade doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
I've seen spinny blades before.
Mhm.
Ronnie, wee woo.
So years ago, they would use these as helicopters, but you have no such skills.
Have you seen the video of the little girl skiing with her dad? She's mic'd up, and she's going down the hill skiing with her dad. The little girl, and she's talking the whole time. She's just jibber jabbering.
Just
And
commentary.
it's hilarious. It's great. But along the way, she goes wee woo, wee woo, as she's going down. So Ronnie put wee woo in there. It reminded me of that. Plus, she falls down. He asks her at one time they're going down there and says, "Oh, what kind of dinosaur are you?" She goes, "I'm a powdersaurus." Like, because she's skiing on this now. And then she falls down, and she's you can hear her grunt. She's trying to get up, and she's squirming and trying to get up. She goes, "I'm a stuckosaurus." It's the cutest thing you ever see in your life. It's fantastic. Yeah. So there you go. The Entertainment Weekly put out this article, and I want to talk about a couple things in it. I know Meg's already broke it down. A lot of people have talked about this. There's only a couple things in here, and one of them is that I brought up, and I put it in our chat with you and Meg last week. We haven't seen Ahsoka the White at all.
Right.
She's in the trailers, and Meg says, "Well, Dave changed her color to gray."
Like, yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
We saw it. She's gray, and then I thought, Meg sort of got a point, except in that post-credit scene of Rebels. So this is what we're talking about. If you guys haven't seen the post-credit scene of Rebels, Ahsoka comes out. Let me just go ahead and on Google here, put in images. Ahsoka the White. Ahsoka the White, right there. Just for people, in case you haven't seen the end of Rebels, there's this scene where she's wearing a much lighter colored cloak, but she's also got this staff, and this staff's got the round circle at the top. Now, there's been images that Dave Filoni has drawn showing like Gandalf the White with his staff and Ahsoka the White with her staff. Very similar. And you're like, oh, cool. Well, Ahsoka's going to like level up sometime. That's what happened to Gandalf, right? He was Gandalf the Gray forever. And then he goes and fights the Balrog, and he comes back as Gandalf the White. They're like, oh, and he leveled up, right? And so in this case, you're thinking, oh, at some point, Ahsoka's going to level up. She'll become not Ahsoka the Gray that we've seen. She's going to become Ahsoka.
But in Rebels, Ahsoka the White's the one that's like, come with me. So
yes,
it doesn't make sense, right?
It's a little confusing.
That's why I don't.
It is a little confusing because she comes back and they talk about Ezra. She's like, "Come with me," right? Tells Sabine, "Let's go get him." Well, that's great. So let's look at this article. Okay. And this is what I want to bring out of the article, because there's all the things you guys have read it. You guys have seen Meg. If you haven't watched Meg's stuff, I don't understand you. But you should go watch Meg's videos. So she covered this article. Really,
I don't know.
Well.
I did a whole thing, like 4 paragraphs, saying this isn't happening, but this is a plan. And then Meg's next video is Mando Forza movie. I'm like, Meg.
I know. Sometimes you put like a whole paragraph of this is not a thing that I'm just hearing like discussion, and then her thumbnail's like it's going to be a movie, but she covered it well. Meg is great. But here we go. In this article, they're interviewing Rosario, and she says in the animation you saw her go to the White, Ahsoka the White. But what I loved is the idea that there was another level to her. Dave and I talked a lot about Gandalf the Gray and Gandalf the White. I said, well, we were just talking about, right? So
right.
Talking about that transition and how she's someone very capable and excellent and looked up to as a leader, but she still has levels of development to go. Wait. Now I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if she still has levels to go, she's still Ahsoka the Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And her and Dave talked about this, and she still has levels.
Well, yeah. If we start a series called Ahsoka, and then the characters like totally self-actualized and done, there's nowhere to go, right? There's nothing to do,
right?
So,
but when she so we have this scene at the end of Rebels. She's Ahsoka the White, and it appears to line up with what we see here, with her going to get Sabine and then them leaving.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be overlap. We don't see that exact scene. We never see that staff.
Yeah.
Did Dave just retcon that out? She's still Ahsoka the Gray when she gets Sabine at the end of there? Or is that from even further in the future after she levels up? And then Ezra's still gone, or he's still missing.
Or maybe that is a pull quote from a 2-minute conversation with 50% of the middle of it cut out.
Well,
and then
okay.
now we're drawing in the first lines and thinking that they connect to the second when they don't. And I would be willing to bet that's probably more likely than not. That's my take on it. You know what I mean? Because people don't speak precisely, but obviously they do in EW articles.
Yeah.
And so it's like they did talk a lot about that, and she has a lot of growing to do. So it's like, yeah,
true.
I don't know.
But they talked about it, so that's my my point, right?
Yeah, because the director and the actor are going to have to figure out what are the character's flaws, what does she want, what does she need, where is she going, and then how is she going to be different by the end of this narrative? Otherwise, it's just going to be kind of flat.
Yeah.
So
she's still Ahsoka the Gray when she shows up. Mm-hmm. And Dave's retconning the post-credit scene of Rebels.
Also remember, though, this isn't something that is being said in the narrative explicitly. This is all things that Lord of the Rings nerds are taking really, really hardcore right now. And it may be as stupid as Luke Skywalker wears black and then opens a white flap at the end, and you're like, oh my god, because you do think just like me. You're one of us. You're a nerd. I got you. I got you, Santa. I brought it all full. I brought it all around.
I heard you call me a Lord of the Rings nerd. I heard it. I'm like, you just called me a nerd. Okay.
You're one of us. You're not cooler than us anymore.
We knew that. It's just that we knew that, that staff is still missing.
Yeah.
Right. We could say anything, but the staff is still missing. Where's the staff? I haven't. Yeah. Like, it's one of the things where I when I see it, I'll be doing the Leo DiCaprio thing, right?
Well, that staff, like when you think about it, if she shows up for one shot with this giant 10-foot long, I'm gonna clean my pool toy, pool.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna be laughable in the live action series, if it was precise. And then we know she's not going to have it anymore after that because she's clearly doesn't going to carry around a pole for a whole series. So with that in mind, I think that even if they remake that scene, there's a good chance that pole just isn't there anymore.
Well, so he's retconning out the staff.
Yeah, I mean, and like you know, if that Lego toy is indicative of what this kid looks like, then yeah,
he's retconning that too.
If he would go as extreme to completely alter a character's design, which I think he should. I think that character design is actually garbage for live action. I think it was a huge error to make that design, because all you're gonna get at the end is a kid who looks like he's going to a Green Day concert, but not in a good way. You know what I mean? That's what it would look like. And
Well, yeah, okay, but I get what they were doing too, because they did it with Cut LaQueen, and the children there. That now, when you think about it, and you put the pieces together, you realize those aren't his kids. So why are they all patchy like that?
Yeah.
Why are they a different color? Like they're a mix between.
She likes humans, is what it turns out, right? She just humans are her jam.
Yeah.
So
they're not his kids. You think initially they're his kids, but they're his stepkids. But they're mixed. So
you know in reality George was like, do that, and then somebody down was like, George, you said the clones can't make kids, and he's like, someone else's kids. Okay, that's probably exactly what happened. I would not be surprised.
But maybe, and the other thing is, like, Cut LaQueen's stepkids have the Leku.
Yeah.
Jason has ears. Like no Leku. So it's like, what's going to happen when you mix the species?
Yeah.
Are you going to end up with Leku or no?
My ex has dark hair. I have blonde hair. My kids have blonde hair. I win. They get Leku. You never know.
Yeah. So this whole Gandalf the White, Ahsoka the White, is apparently still a thing to some degree. But Meg may be right. You may be right that they have retconned it. That when she shows up, she's still Ahsoka the Gray, and maybe they would like to do future seasons of her character progressing through that arc to become Ahsoka the White, which also tells us. Now it solidifies for me that in Dave's plan for Ahsoka, there is an Ahsoka the White that exists. So whether we have retconned this scene at the end of Rebels or not, Ahsoka the White exists in her continuity somewhere. Dave has it in his mind, which confirms for me she's not dying. We didn't expect her to. She's not dying in the movie either, unless she levels up. She's got to get to the Ahsoka the White. So as long as you see Ahsoka the Gray, you're like, oh, she ain't dying. That's what it does for me. I think we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, because it is like when you're dealing with color palettes in a cartoon, and then color palettes in live action and stuff like that, that great like color that we see, that might be the white though. It really might be. I mean, I'm not saying it is. I mean, and they might have a scene where she's fighting and they fall into a lake or something, and then she comes out and she looks a hell of a lot cleaner, and it's like it's way whiter. No, I mean that kind of stuff. There's these little things that they can do that.
But she's saying that she still has levels of development to go. She hasn't leveled up yet.
Right, but once again, like,
all right, I know. It's
an
interview quote.
Ahsoka, you've matured. Here is some Tide with bleach. I don't know. I go kind of, I'm curious. And then with they wanted to do a second season of this before they got to the film series down the road, and so that would probably mean that we don't maybe get very far in this, or this might not change at all in the season at all. With that in mind,
yes,
there might be something held, towards the film, for instance.
Exactly. There's got to be the level up is in her future. It hasn't happened yet, and until we see her as Ahsoka the White, we know Dave's story arc for her has not completed, and maybe, and I still, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, we can hear Ahsoka's voice. People are like, "Oh, she's dead!" I'm like, and that's when Dave did the side by side with Gandalf and Ahsoka. and he has Gandalf quoted as saying, "Don't worry, they thought I was dead too." Right? And you're like, oh, he's saying maybe she doesn't become Ahsoka the White until later. And so he's just retconning this part and recontextualizing, Matt, this part where she is still Ahsoka the Grey. We're spending way too much time thinking about
Right.
Ahsoka the Grey and Ahsoka the White, but this is where you see the meme where you see the husband and wife laying in bed at night, and the wife's thinking, oh, he's probably thinking about some other woman, and he's
Mhm.
thinking about, well, when did Ahsoka become Ahsoka the White? She's
Mhm.
still Ahsoka the Gray, and like that. That's
Is Santa's beard white or gray? Hmm.
Uh, and I keep forgetting this Inquisitor that's in here. I saw on your show last night somebody super chatted you and said, "Hey, is Palpatine going to be in it?"
Mhm.
Well, maybe this Inquisitor is really Darth Plagueis.
What?
Morok. He's wearing it. He could be Darth Plagueis. I mean, you don't know.
I mean, it could be Mara Jade. It could be Moron. It could be his real name, and he just changed it to a K to try to hide the fact that he's really dumb.
Calling it now. Morok is Darth Plagueis. Uh,
Mhm.
It's make it happen.
I think it's Padme, and she never really died.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a fantastic. The article itself goes on, and they talk about, do you have to have knowledge of the show going in? Should you have watched Rebels, and do you need to have watched all these other things? And
And it says yes, or you are a fake fan.
well, it does say that, but it also says it for normies. No, you don't
Mhm.
have to.
Yeah.
Very funny. Yeah, you heard it here. Palpatine's in Ahsoka.
Mhm.
Morok is Palpatine. No, Morok is Jar Jar. I'm going to start seeing. This is perfect. We've started a thing. My, make your Morok predictions now. Morok is really Jar Jar Binks. Morok is really Darth Plagueis. Morok is really, like, you can say all the wild, crazy, made up stuff. It's great.
What what if that little person next to her, next to Hera, his name is Roll, and it's his sidekick, and they're Moroccan Roll. Maybe. Okay. Probably not.
There's this commercial on that drives me crazy about Moroccan oil. Sugar, this
Okay.
got more rockin' oil. I'm
Moroccan
like,
oil.
it's more rockin'. I didn't
Mm,
know that
there we
that it
go.
was like two words like that. I thought it
Hmm.
was Moroccan. But no, it's more rockin' oil.
Moroccan.
It's
Fair.
like, there you go.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyway, this is a great article, Entertainment Weekly. I'd say the push, the promos are being shifted into high speed. We're getting more of these promo videos that are like remixes with little additional clips in here. There you go. It's Mace Windu. Mace Windu. Morok is.
Dude. No.
I love it. I love it. You guys got the
Oh,
right idea.
Wesley White. What about Wesley the Gray? Think
Well,
about it
there you go.
in chat.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. This dude, Wesley the Gray. And no,
Hmm.
he's already leveled up. He's Wesley White. No,
Oh, yeah.
no, yeah. He leveled up. He was Wesley the Gray long ago, before he defeated the Balrog. But now,
Yeah.
now he's when Corvus goes Moroccan, don't come a knocking.
Right.
I say the press push is in uh, full mode now, right?
Yeah.
We got a teaser trailer last night. We got another teaser trailer today. There's two different names. You got the Entertainment Weekly article. I also saw the direct is doing what the direct does, right? They take these articles and they repost them, and they take content and repost it. It's hitting
Ahsoka
all
no
the things.
longer orange. Ahsoka white now.
Dave was
What?
Dave was very thoughtful about crafting the narrative in a way it could invite people in. Show tells them everything they need to know along the way.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that will likely always be the case. I'm betting on a Rebels montage when they were talking a lot about how Dave was using previs and animation as previs for the show.
Yeah.
I could totally just see him slicing out the moments from Rebels, turning it into an opening montage that's animated, and then reshooting those scenes for a live action montage to explain all of these things, and maybe a narration from Ahsoka or something. I don't know, but I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it being very viable, especially considering the tools he's already using. I don't think it would be off the table in this instance. So
Yeah, I agree with you. And they were in one of these articles. They talked.
Is a montage when it's just Mon Mothma stuff, like a bunch of like Mon Mothma in slow motion shots and stuff, looking hot from the Andor series?
It's a more rockin' montage. I've just seen. There was another article, and I was listening to when I was driving, where Dave did like previs animations for all these scenes as they were coming in, and then they said he took the table reads and put the table reads over the animations, so that they had, as they were going in to do the shoot for whatever scene, he already kind of had it in some previs animation there, which
that Dave Filoni is prepared.
Well, now you know there's going to be a huge demand for that to be released to the public at some point. Like, we want to see it. I want to see
that'd be terrible.
Yeah. Well,
it would be.
It'd be
I get it. Like when they did the one thing where like they didn't make the Clone Wars episode for like 7 years or something.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we'll show it at a convention. It'll make them happy. Like I get that one, but think about that. I bet you it won't. It doesn't. And I wonder if the actors knew what they were saying would be used for previs or not. Because if they didn't, some of them might be like, "We're okay, Your Highness.
I just choked on my raisin."
Because like table reads sometimes are really. Sometimes table reads are like, really, really passionate. Other times it's like, we need a montage. And then they go turn the page, It's
right.
And
then you do the.
Oh, that's got the Ahsoka script.
Yeah. So the table read could be a lot like that.
Yeah. So, sorry, I got COVID. Oh, no.
Hey, I've got one more, a little bit of bonus article here, and again, this came to me from our friend Yadi. She sent to me this morning and said it comes from Screen Rant. So Screen Rant is Screen Rant. Like, if you're familiar, you've seen their content, you have an idea where it comes from. Screen Rant's not the worst by any means, but it's also hit and miss, I'd say. But this is an interesting article because it says Star Wars retcons a Rise of Skywalker villain into a key original trilogy moment. Now,
what?
Interesting use of the term retcon, but in recontextualization, yes, absolutely. So just to kind of skip past some of the fluff here, because they got to get all the words in.
Okay.
You go to this this new book that's coming out from a certain point of view, and in here there's a part of about General Pride, right? It says this was not glory, and most certainly was not victory. They had lost. Pride felt his heart kick into high gear as he remembered the shock suddenly bring him out of his daze, as effectively as a jab from a bantha prod. And if you've been ever prodded by a bantha, you know what I mean. No, they had lost, and the lights in the sky, visible despite the dawn, were not fireworks or a meteor storm. They were the last burning remnants of the greatest fleet the Empire had ever assembled, the blasted debris raining down across the entire Endor system. So he was there. He was at the Battle of Endor. That's the retcon.
Yeah, that's not even a retcon though. That would be like saying he was never at the Battle of Endor and now he is. That's just adding that this old ass Imperial dude was there, and I would even say that was a fair given. Like, but once again, I'm not blaming Screen Rant for using it for the title. I get why they would do it just to like sell the idea concept easily. But yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
He's been developed, is what it is. Now
exactly. We've had some backstory to a sequel era character, and not only that, but they do a little speculation bit in here, which is great. They said he'll find Darth Vader's helmet. You know, the melted bit. He's going to find that.
They back in the day, I saw stuff from around that era that they had done that like never came out, and they had drawn like Phasma and Kylo landing on Endor, and there's like these dead Ewoks, and they're like finding, and they're like, and like he's taking the helmet out of the like rubble of the ash and stuff. They like the art. Some of the artists went full out on it. That stuff never has come out officially, but
so
it exists.
This is the other part. A little commentary in the middle. They say for a character to certain a victory in the Rise of Skywalker, Pride seemed to not have learned his lesson from Endor. Both battles were a perfect trap for their enemies, almost assuredly going to snuff out the fire of the rebellion, and were thwarted in the unlikeliest of ways. Pride did survive Endor, though he went on to be a key instrument for the Final Order as one of Palpatine's fanatics. So, yeah, fine. They're filling in his story, you know? And here they're just saying, well, he didn't learn the lesson. Like, don't underestimate your enemy.
That's just a thing. Like it wasn't like in Return of the Jedi, a whole fleet full of the whole galaxy showed up at the very end. It's different. It's a different thing. I mean, but once again, you got to make the 300 word count. We can't hold it against them. They just got to get that Google. They got to get in their Google stuff, play the SEO game, you know. But
it's a fine covering that tweet. They just wrote a story around not a tweet. It's an excerpt, right? That was published, and then they're just filling in the holes. It's not a retcon, but it does do something. It ties in the sequel trilogy. It starts to again kind of re-emphasize the sequel trilogy is not going anywhere, my friends. For all the rumors and speculation that the Ahsoka series is going to show us the world between worlds, and Dave's going to retcon the sequels.
No, the people who say that crap don't even believe it. They don't believe their own BS. They just know they can LARP it, you know. So
well, the funny thing is, a lot of people who read that do believe it. There are people who genuinely think that that's true, and it's just not. And we get more and more evidence.
When you jump out of the cult, come hang out with us.
Come hang out.
when you wake up,
the water's warm.
Get you programmed. Go ahead and talk about reality for a bit if you want.
To that point, you asked the question on your live stream last night about what are the children of some of the folks who are believing, say, fake news, going to grow up to become? Are they going to also just keep believing this stuff? Are they going to have their eyes open?
Or are they going to get real savvy about media? As my whole childhood, I was believing that Kathleen Kennedy was a demon with lasers in her eyes, and she was fired 15 times. Then we got about 17 years old, and I said, she's still there. None of this is seeming like it makes any sense, you know? Like what's going to happen?
I'll tell you, I've gone down that path a little myself. From my early 20s to where I am today. And this is no secret, right? I am a conservative Christian, Republican, like right-wing kind of guy. Along the way, from time to time, I would see stuff that I believed on surface value. And I would repeat just like anybody would. And then, yeah, that thing, it happened. And then when you find out the truth of it afterwards, you're like, and you do begin to become more critical of news.
Yeah.
And not only am I more critical of, like, I've always been critical of, call it mainstream news outlets, that they have a certain agenda that they're pushing and they're kind of uh, 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 spinning. I've always been that way, but now I also see it from my guys, right, my side,
Yeah.
and I can clearly see that. Oh, the Sean Hannitys are maybe pushing it just a little too far. They take a thing and they push it too far, and you're like, okay, I love you, Sean, but at the same time, maybe try to be more truthful. And then, and it's the same on the left. And I see them, and I'm like, you guys are fear mongering. There's a thing going on here
Oh,
in
no, no,
Ohio.
they're not. They're just a bunch of cowards and they're afraid of everything.
Well, there's that too, but there's also the fear mongering. Like,
Yeah,
if
no,
you
it's okay.
don't give
I'm
us,
joking.
yeah, if you don't give us $20, then Trump is going to overtake the world. Send us
Yeah,
your
it's like, how
$20.
about you go ask Nancy Pelosi for the $20? She's got it. I don't. What are you talking about,
Yeah,
jerks?
but there's a thing here in Ohio. We have an issue coming up to change the constitutional amendment process. So here it's changing it from a 50% to a 60% majority.
Right.
Has to do it to make a constitutional amendment in the state of Ohio. And there's a commercial all the time that says, if this passes, it'll take away the majority vote. I'm like, wait, it takes some weird math to think about it's going to remove majority vote. Because now it has to be super majority.
Yeah,
Like your commercial's a little deceiving
yeah.
from that side, and it gets the same on the other side on the do it or they're going to make all your girls transgendered. Like, yeah, no, I mean, like, calm down, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Yeah. Well, like on the same like note, just having done Star Wars news for 10 years,
yeah,
having gone out of my way to report something like this week, something completely factual, something very real, something that is a plan, and then to go and to make it clear, you would have to have a learning disability to read my article and say, this person is saying this is happening right now. And then I have people, quote, debunking me.
yeah.
It's not happening, and I've been very clear about it. But then you see how it gets how it gets changed around for profit. And I know how the process works, and I don't think it's just Star Wars News that does this.
No, it's not.
I think
It's
literally
everywhere.
It's mass media is designed on accident or on purpose, however you want to look at it, to work this way.
Yeah, I can give you another like real world example is it's been a little over a year ago. There was a lot of pushback against diet soda. Like, diet soda is bad for you. Quit drinking. No, it'll make you fat, right? Like, drinking diet soda is going to it causes you to actually gain weight, and so you should stop drinking diet soda.
Yeah.
And the question that I kept going back to is, so should they go back to drinking regular soda?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to drink 5 cans of Coca-Cola today, or I'm going to drink 5 cans of Diet Coca-Cola today. Which one makes me more fat?
I don't know. Maybe the 1,000 calories you just took will make you lose weight. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So I'm like, you guys aren't reporting. Like, you just, like, and this ran for like weeks where they were doing that, the get off of diet soda or Diet Coke, whatever. Get off of that diet pop. And I kept saying, people aren't thinking about this when they're doing the stories, because what they're doing is, for people who watch, they're like, oh, I'm just going to go back to drinking the Coca-Cola then. Like, they made a switch to Diet Coke because they thought they could save some calories.
Yeah.
And then they went to, Diet Coke or Coke Zeros. Matt said,
and is it ultimately a misunderstanding about sodium intake in the end, and then exaggerating that?
It has to do with your craving for sweet things. That drinking the Diet Coke has the artificial sweeteners in it. It still leaves you with a desire for that. and so you're still consuming more calories from things that you should exclude. So if you had switched to water, you switch to unsweetened teas, things like that,
Right.
then you'll be healthier. Like,
Okay.
well, yeah, duh, drinking water is better for you than drinking.
Yeah. What we were designed for.
Yeah, yeah. I want to do Mike Porter dad joke, and then I want to do a little bonus content at the end. And the bonus content after the Mike Porter dad joke, we're going to talk about something this guy said yesterday that's very spoilery, and you may see lots of videos about it. So we'll do the Mike Porter dad joke. And if you don't want this, the very spoilery, I think this goes into the high degree of spoilery. If you don't want to hear that, then get on out. Go follow Mike Porter on Twitter and do all the things, right? But if you're up for listening to that spoiler that Jason published, we'll get into that in just a moment. Just a moment. So right here, Mike Porter dad joke. What did the dissatisfied Mark One Pistoka sabotage droid say after sabotaging a big droid that left him with no energy? Now, do you know what that Mark One Pistoka sabotage droid is?
I'm drawing a blank on that at the moment.
There was those little like things that crawled on top of Anakin's Jedi thing and would like pulling wires out and stuff. I'm like, and then
the buzz droids.
sort of, yeah. And then Kenobi comes in and swipes them off of there.
Yeah, the
and they
buzz
go
droids.
flying. Yeah.
Buzz droids.
So these Mark One Pistoica sabotage droids. So what did one of them say after sabotaging a big droid?
What did he say?
And it left him with no energy. He said, "Well, I could have had a BB-8." Oh, now you have to been around a little while to get that reference.
That was yeah. That one was a lot. That was a lot of work to get to that one. His poor brain. Just imagining him like going through it all. I mean, like, yeah.
So I'm going to put the spoiler warning up. And then, again, I was listening to your show from yesterday. And you said a little something about a boy in a scene where they reshot with perhaps the World Between Worlds kind of vision.
Yeah.
And just to kind of put it in some context, we heard a long time ago, you'd shared with us that there was going to be an alternate reality kind of thing, that it had Ahsoka stayed in the Jedi Order, not left, and still been with Anakin when Order 66 happened, that she would have followed him to Mustafar instead of Kenobi. And
in
addition to Kenobi,
they both would have had to have gone to confront Anakin if she had stayed in the Jedi Order.
So she ends up out there dueling with Anakin, in the same sense that Kenobi did. Now, yesterday you shared a good bit of information that was new to me about that scene. So you want to fill them in?
Well, yeah, that it, like, there was like they have a dead Kenobi dummy pile of, and when I say like pile of robes, I don't mean like he disappears. You know what I mean? It's like he's been killed, and then now Ahsoka sees in this thing that they filmed, if she is the one who takes away his arms and legs and turns him into Darth Vader, she can't do it. Kenobi's gone, and now she has to do Kenobi's gig. That would have been her fate. And in a lot of ways, now, like, number one, Kenobi's dead, so that's not better for him. And now she has to do Kenobi suffering out there in Tatooine. Everything that we saw in the Kenobi series ends up being her plight. And so it's good that she did make the right call, not only for herself, but for Kenobi as well. There was a worse reality, a worse outcome for her life if she hadn't done, because she carries some kind of guilt for leaving that guy. She's wondered for years, if I had stayed, could I have stopped him from doing what he did? But I'm going to assume in that moment she doesn't realize Anakin was in a place where his child and his wife are going to die, and saving them is something that no one was going to get in between. Like, it doesn't matter who you were. Like, anybody would do that.
Yeah.
So that's Palpatine's. His plan was so airtight, so well done against that guy that there was nothing that could happen. So in this road that she's on has been the better road. So that would be the take. But like, once again, I don't believe there's some multiverse going on. I don't believe this sequence is 15 minutes long. From what I understand, this was shot in an afternoon. So do the math. It's seconds long, I'd say.
Yeah. The bit that was added to that is we see Kenobi dead.
Yeah.
And it's unclear to me, and it's probably unclear to you as well. Like, if there's going to be like from the New Hope where Vader slices him and then just the robes float down.
Yeah, no. So my understanding of it is that think of Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan has been knocked out and he's down, and Anakin is fighting Dooku and kills Dooku.
Yeah.
Think of that. That would be the best thing over here. So you can see his clothes, but it's not. I don't think we're going to see Ewan. I don't believe Ewan McGregor cameos in this show.
I got you.
Does that make sense? And for all I know, it's the dummy from Revenge of the Sith, because I know they kept it.
Well, are they going to show like the clothes just evaporate down, or is it just like
his body is just there.
Okay, there you go.
His body is just there.
There you go. That was part that was a little unclear to me. Like, if they were going to have him evaporate into the Force and leave his.
I was trying to say that, like, you can't see Ewan, and then it started to sound like I was saying he was going to like go. You could just see his clothes, like
gotcha.
The clothes from Revenge of the Sith that he's wearing, and you can't see Ewan, but that's Obi-Wan. That's the embankment. That's Ahsoka, and that's Anakin, and
got it.
And it's a Revenge of the Sith era Ahsoka Tano, and I don't know if it's a different actor playing the younger Ahsoka, and that I don't know. For all I know, we only see her from the back. On looking in that moment, and we see what's about to happen. If you know Revenge of the Sith,
it's an AI Ahsoka.
I don't think in this. I don't know about they would do that right now, but maybe.
Yeah. No. Well, there were rumors that a younger actress was cast.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about it.
And talking to Bespin, he's like, I don't have any specifics. You've heard it, but beyond hearing it doesn't mean it's been like confirmed or solidified in any way of a particular actress or.
I could see
anything.
It though. I mean, I think it's totally viable and possible.
Yeah.
And it once again, and it might just be an actor. They may have just got somebody with the physique of Ahsoka from that era and put her in a costume, filmed her from like I said, over the shoulder, and you're just like, there you go, silhouette,
Yeah. Now, I saw a couple other articles that you and Bespin discussed.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing? Dead Obi-Wan. We talked about that. What else? Oh, the runtime. That was the other one. The last bit here. I can take down the spoiler warning at this point. The runtime for the first 2 episodes is reportedly around an hour 36, something like that, right?
Okay.
I gotta look up my memory.
It's basically just 2 45-minute episodes.
Yeah, hour 36. Yeah, by the time you take in the entry and the outro for each, the actual content of each is going to be 40-ish minutes, something like that.
The source for this stuff, I believe, usually has them from like the screeners. Yeah. This one, they knew that people went to see it at a private screening, and they got the runtime from somebody who went to the private like press screening of it.
Yeah.
and saw it, and then that's where the runtime's from. So it may not have credits. I've gone to those kind of things before. Sometimes there's credits, sometimes there's not, and so but at the end of the day, it's just your standard Mando 45
Gotcha.
range episodes. Yeah,
and that's why I was just
remember
down the
because it's 2 episodes. One could be 30 minutes and one could be like 50 minutes. You know what I mean? It could go. It could be lopsided too.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, it's super exciting. We're less than 3 weeks away.
Yeah, we're close.
We'll start doing the season predictions. So I've got a season prediction that's in my head that I'm probably going to be wrong about.
Okay.
If you were to make a prediction that maybe you're wrong about, not something that you already know, is there anything in your head that you're like, I think this thing could happen?
I think I've always heard that the show is a big downer at the end, like the bad guys win.
Yeah.
And I think to offset that, we get the Rebels reunion at the very, very end of it. So that's where you see Zeb is like, oh my God, Ezra's here. And then Ezra's with Zeb and Sabine and Chopper and the little Jason kids there and everything like that. And then it's like, okay, the end was we didn't succeed, but look at what we got. I think that's how it's gonna end. I think that's gonna be like the good guy, the part that makes you not want to never watch Star Wars again ending because it's such a bummer. I think that's where it's gonna go.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. So that just kind of couches it, like, okay, this terrible thing's getting ready to happen. But look, we have this happy reunion where we're all sitting around and like embracing and
rejoicing. Ezra's back. We've lost him for like a decade or something, however long it's been, 11 years, and now he's back. And so,
but this terrible thing is still there.
This terrible thing is still there. Yeah. It's still on the horizon. But
so my prediction, that it may be wrong, probably wrong, but I want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that sometime in the Thrawn episodes, he's going to allude to a bigger threat.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps mention the Grisk specifically, or at least allude to them in an offhanded way. So that's my prediction that I'm going to, that probably won't happen, but I'm going to put in to try to get 20 points for the predictions game. I'm going to say Thrawn at some point either mentions the Grisk directly or alludes to them indirectly by saying something to the effect of, "There's a bigger threat coming." Not meaning the Empire or the Rebels. That's it for me.
Okay. Well, what would be genius about that is if the Grisk never come to live action, and you're not specific enough, fans can then debate, did he mean the Grisk from the novels that I love, or did he mean the First Order, the Final Order that's coming in the First Order and all that jazz too? So you could literally, if worded correctly, could mean whatever fans prefer in that moment too. Depending on how they take it.
Yeah. So that's just to give you an idea of what's in my head when I'm talking about doing these predictions for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with something like that. There's be a reunion scene with Zeb and Ezra, and it goes, everybody from Rebels comes together in a celebration of Ezra's return.
Yeah.
Or you lean into the Thrawn angle, like I said, or like Nerd Mafia says, Eli Vanto. If you're really cool, you know who that guy is.
You told me, and I already forgot. I'm sorry. You did tell me though. I remember the name.
Very good, Jason. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've had fun. It's been great.
Man.
And if you can hang out for a couple minutes, we'll visit just a minute here at the end. All right. Thank you all for being with us today. We've had a good time talking about Ahsoka, all that's coming as we lead up to the premiere coming up. So thank you all. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate all the interaction in the chat. You guys have been great, and look forward to next time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, fantastic weekend, and until next time, my friends. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Bye, guys.
And may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.